the seconds between the radiator clicks. Shadows prolong without a voice to break them. The clock on the wall has a heavy metal tongue. I walk through the hallways of this empty frame, memorizing the grain of the wooden doors. No coat hangs beside mine on the brass hook. No keys jingle at the turn of the deadbolt. Yes, stay still even when I move fast. A hollow space where a conversation used to live. Only my footsteps making a path in the dark. Only my breathing keeping the rhythm of the room. There is a canyon widening between the walls. A quiet so thick it feels like a heavy wool coat. I am a single point on an unmarked map, navigating the distance of an afternoon alone. Only my footsteps making a path in the dark. Only my breathing keeping the rhythm of the room. There is a canyon widening between the doors. A quiet so thick it feels like a heavy wool coat. I am a single point on an unmarked map, navigating the distance of an afternoon alone. The telephone is a cold plastic weight. The windows reflect a face I barely know. If I shouted out the name of the street, the bricks would soak up the sound like a sponge. Isolation is a garment that fits too well, tailored to the shape of a man standing still. I stare at the patterns in the ceiling plaster, tracing the maps of countries that don't exist. The evening arrives with the gray velvet touch, turning the trees into jagged blacking. I build a fortress out of unread books. Safety is found in the lack of a crowd. Tomorrow will arrive with the same pale light, the cannibal whistle that's solitary too. I will find comfort in the lack of a shadow, walking through the garden of my own thoughts. There is a certain strength in the missing noise, a steady pulse in the heart of the vacancy. Only my footsteps making a path in the dark. Only my breathing keeping the rhythm of the room. There is a canyon winding between the walls. A quiet so thick it feels like a heavy wool coat. Only my single point on an unmarked map, navigating the distance of an afternoon alone. Only my footsteps making a path in the dark. Only my breathing keeping the rhythm of the room. There is a canyon widening between the walls, a quiet so thick it feels like a heavy wool coat. I am a single point on an unmarked map, navigating the distance of an afternoon alone. The sand beneath my boots feels cold as stone. palms are trembling where the seeds were sown. I gaze across the reef where sharp shores lie, regretting that I ever came to try. The salty breeze carries a bitter taste beneath the sky of iron weighing chase. Why am I trapped on this cursed land, where black tides roll onto white sand, where hunters prey on weak and frail, and mercy fades to ghostly pale? Shadows twist when comes the night. Monsters walk on polished floors, scrawling sins on marble doors. They trade in souls like precious gold, while broken tales stay left untold. The bleeding sun paints oceans red. I tally costs of words they said. This fear and evil mold. Why am I trapped on this cursed land, where black tides roll onto white sand, where hunters prey on weak and frail, and mercy fades to ghostly pale? And I cold alone. I shake the dust from off my feet. This nightmare ends with my retreat. Where golden keys unlock the gate, a private empire built on stone, and souls reduced to heavy freight. The tide comes in to wash the stains from linen suits and marbled halls, while small hands pull at phantom chains behind the thick and silent walls. They sold the dawn for silver. cheek. The maps are red with hidden roots. The manifests are filled with lies. The truth is growing bitter fruits beneath those pale and hungry skies. Swaying in a rusted yard where the heavy shadows fall so hard. A soldier stands by the broken gate with a wooden sword and a heavy fate. The dust is rising from the tramping feet while the bells are ringing down the street. Turn away the guns and the gray stone walls before the evening curtain finally falls. Let the children play. Keep the vultures at a distance far away. Let the innocents alone. Build a kingdom that the heart can call its own. Let the small hands hold the morning sun until the longest day is truly done. Let the children pray. At a distance far away. Let the innocents alone. Build a kingdom that the heart can call its own. Let the small hands hold the morning sun until the longest day is truly done. They are drawing circles in the hungry mud, far from the thunder and the scent of blood. The maps they follow have no borders drawn, just the golden promise of a quiet dawn. A marble rose across a cracked concrete floor, while the wind is howling at the iron door. Don't ask them to carry the weight of the years or drown their laughter in a sea of fears. The clock is ticking on the chapel wall. little child. Let the children play, keep the vultures at a distance far away. Yet the innocents alone build a kingdom that the heart can call its own. Let the small hands hold the morning sun until the longest day is truly done. Let the children play, keep the vultures at a distance far away. Let innocence alone build a kingdom that the heart can call its own. Let the small hands hold the morning sun. Wallpaper peels in a room built of thick stone. A small chest that's tilted and frozen alone. No one asks why the bruises are shaped like a hand, or why there are lines drawn deep in the sand. The clock on the mantle just pulses away, counting the shadows that swallow the day. We lock all the windows to muffle the sound, while a heavy inheritance falls to the ground. See the reflection of fear in the glass. You watch all the seasons and grievances pass. The kitchen is humming a low steady tune under the gaze of a cold hollow moon. A jacket is torn and the buttons are gone, but you tell yourself that the world carries on. It is easier far to look at your feet than to witness the wreckage out on the street. To remain silent is to condone, to leave a young spirit to fracture alone. Every word stifled is a blow that you deal, making the terror more jagged and real. If you hold your breath while the temple decays, you are the architect of these dark days. To look away is to sharpen the knife and witness the theft of a miniature life. The neutrality of a bystander's eyes is just a slow venom in a clever disguise. There is no middle ground when the cradle is broke, only the fire and the thickening smoke. A quiet tongue is a heavy iron chain that anchors the victim to cycles of pain. If you do not speak, then you sign on the line and bless the transgression as if by design. Stirring their coffee and tea, talking of markets and who's truly free. But through the drywall a small spirit breaks, while everyone counts up their private mistakes. The hallway is long and the lighting is dim, and the cup of endurance is filled to the brim. We trade our integrity for a moment of peace, while the grip on the innocent fails to release. Leaving us on that we knew all the facts, the crimes of omission and the weight of our acts. The child is a witness, so what we won't say, for the courage we squandered and threw clean away. There are ghosts in the rafters and dust on the floor, and a lock that is rattling on every door. The ink on the ledger is crimson and deep, for the promises kept and the secrets we keep. The silence is loud as a clashing of glass, watching the ghosts of the future pass. If you stay muted, you side with the fist and add a new name to the casualty list. To remain silent is to condone, to leave a young spirit, to fracture a low. Every word stifled is a blow that you deal, making the terror more jagged and real. If you hold your breath while the temple decays, you are the architect of these dark days. To look away is to sharpen the knife and witness the theft of a miniature life. Saintly halo caught from hollow brass. She sees the cradle never touched by grime, a portrait frozen in a simpler time. The kitchen hums a soft and steady hymn. She keeps the wick of every candle trim. To her the porcelain remains without a crack. She ignores the soot that gathers at my back. Across the hall a shadow takes a shape, a heavy fist beneath the velvet drape. He counts the skies like tallies on a slate, to him the silver spoon is bent and black, a crooked spine along the jagged track. He smells the sulfur when I breathe his name, and sees the embers of a rising flame. Perfect in my mother's eyes, a jewel polished by her quiet lies, but a devil in the other's eyes, a storm that strips away the thinnest skies. I am the prayer and the curse combined, two different ghosts for two different minds, torn between the mercy and the blame, living in the wreckage that they made. Mirror split right down the middle line. One side is holy and the other is brine. The white lace collar and the iron chain, the cooling harvest and the acid rain. I am the savior in a gilded frame. Knelt to pray. The soil turns to ash when he looks my way. One hand is reaching for a steady hand, the other builds a gallows on the sand. disguise. I am the prayer and my curse combined. Two different ghosts for two different minds. Torn between the mercy and the light. Living in the legacy that they made. Perfect in my mother's eyes. The jewel polished by her quiet lies. But a devil in the other's eyes. A stone that strips away the green disguise. I am the prayer, my curse combined. Two different ghosts for two different minds. Torn between the mercy and the blade. Living in the wreckage that they made.
The prophets are shouting through a crack in the door, collecting the pieces of a shattered folklore. I walked through the garden where the statues all fell, and found that the truth was a hard thing to sell. The maps had been redrawn by hand in the dark, leaving no trace of the original spark. They talk of the lineage and the throne made of glass, watching the shadows of the centuries pass. But the blood in the gutters is a shade of regret, a debt to the ghosts that we haven't paid yet. I looked for a hero in the dust of the street, but found only shoes on the stranger's tired feet. I don't believe in the human race anymore. The lock has been broken on the treasury floor. We traded our mercy for a seat at the feast, while hunger was hunting the soul of the beast. Turned back the clock to the silence of stone, when the wind was the only master we'd own. Retreating from a poison shore, we built up the towers to measure our pride, but there's nowhere for any poor sinner to hide. The ink on the covenant is faded and dry, underneath the weight of a hollowed out sky. The vanity of kings is a heavy old coat, a necklace of lead on a desperate throat. They promise us heaven if we carry the wood, but the fire they started did nobody good. The mirror is lying and the image is thin. There's no use in trying to start it again. The orphans are singing in a language of loss, calculating the profit and the weight of the cross. I saw the battalion marching into the sun, blaming who battle was already won. The soil is weary of the seeds that we sow, where the flowers of kindness refuse now to grow. So back up the Bibles and the manuals of law, the wisdom we gather as a terminal flaw. I'll head for the mountains where the air is still clean, away from the gears of the social machine. The history books are just a collection of lies, reflected in gold in a dead man's eyes. I don't believe in the human race anymore. The lock has been broken on the treasure floor. We traded our mercy for a seat at the feast, while hunger was hunting the soul of the beast. Turn back the clock to the silence of stone, when the wind was the only man. the poison shore. We built up the towers to measure our pride, but there's nowhere for any poor sinner to hide. The ink on the cover is faded and dry underneath the wheel of a hollowed out sky. The dust has settled on the clay so gray, where iron shadows stole the light away. The rusted hinges of the gate so wide now swing so free with fate to guide. The children laugh where hollow shells remain. No funeral bells can haunt their joyful game. No counting costs in winter's bitter air. No ghosts are named in frost so bare. The dawn now drinks from silver streams so bright. The wind now sings a song of new delight. Lay down the burden of this shield so old. The graves now shine in fields of gold. The river flows to wash the crimson pain, till all the valley knows is rain. The wire bends in grass so tall and green, to let the weary pass unseen. The prophets sleep beneath the pines so tall, their golden ink now bitter wine for all. But silence hums a holy sound so sweet, from fertile ground where sorrows meet. Sit and watch the fading night. No sudden light can bring them fear or fright. They tell the tales where no defeat is known, while breath still cools on cobblestone. The dawn now drinks from silver streams so bright. The wind now sings a song of new delight. Lay down the burden of the shield so old. The graves now shine in fields of gold. The river flows to wash the crimson cane, till all the valley moves its rain. The wire bends in grass so tall and green, to let the weary pass unseen.
steam curls like a great question mark. The radiator hums soft hymns in the dark.